If there's anything I've learned over my almost 19 years of life, and especially within the last year of it, it's that women really desire safety. Whether it's emotional safety because they want to experience whatever they feel, whether it's physical safety because they want a man to protect them or to hold things for them naturally, or it's spiritual safety because they want a man like you to lead them to God. Women desire safety, and they'll oftentimes restructure their life around this because they want to be in a more safe environment. However, if you can't fulfill any of those things, regardless of how muscular you are or how emotionally intelligent you may be, if you don't make a woman feel safe, oftentimes you'll push her away. And unfortunately, low IQ men are going to blame this on the woman rather than taking accountability for themselves. Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter, and let's just get straight into it. In today's video, I want to talk about why we can make women feel unsafe and how we can actually just make women feel safe around us. Now, this is a given, but if you're struggling and you haven't even thought about this yet, I really recommend watching this video, as it'll just teach you, simply put, how we can make women feel safe and welcome around us. So to do that, we got to understand why they don't feel safe in the first place. Well, women don't feel safe because of three core reasons. So first of all, emotional unpredictability. That's the fact that you don't know how you're going to react or act in a certain moment. And more importantly, she doesn't know how you're going to act. So you might be calm one moment and the next moment you're irritated. So she's never going to know which version of you she's going to get. That's dangerous because if she can't predict the way you're going to feel, she can't act in a way that is going to allow her to interpret the way you will feel in the future. I mean, why would she want to do something for you if she's not going to know how it's going to make you feel? And likewise, as a man is going to predict the future or is going to even, I'd say, imagine a future with a partner, a woman just foresees a future because she's a bit more grounded in reality. She doesn't think as extravagantly or as large as men do. So because of that, she's going to focus on what's detailed and what's predictable, just naturally. And as a result of that, if you're unpredictable, she can't foresee anything with you. And of course, through this unpredictability, we find reactive communication. Men love to react and act based on scenarios because that's how we move forward. But you can't react based on communication in the wrong way. So whether it's raising your voice or snapping or even just defending yourself, you can't do that. Doesn't matter how wrong you are, how poorly put you're in a situation, you have to react calm. Because being a man isn't about feeling good by getting back at someone. It's about doing good and being good by just doing the right thing. So that means being calm regardless. And that's really difficult as a man. But if you react to how people talk to you, you're not a good man. You don't make people feel safe. You got to make women feel like as if they can react however they want. And you'll be consistent. Like that pole in the ocean. You're hit by waves, struck by lightning, but you're never going to move because you're grounded. And of course, beyond all of this, we find the third reason, which is your inconsistency. So your inconsistency, showing that one week you're going to work really hard and the next week you're not, shows that a woman can't really trust you. How can she foresee a future with you? How could she trust that she's going to spend the rest of her life with you, or even the next few minutes, if you're all back and forth? You clearly don't have your own life put together. And it's essential that men just do this simple step, if they so desire, to show a woman that they can be safe. I mean, after all, your standards shift and they slip. So if your standards start to shift, how can hers stay aligned with you? Of course, though, a woman relaxes only when her man is consistent beyond these things. So you can't be intense, you can't be over the top, just be consistent. And that's what you can show you're safer as a man, and you'll naturally grow a more female audience in your life because they're not going to feel ashamed to be with you as a result of knowing that they can be around you. And that's not manipulative. That's not some sort of, oh, here's this bro logic that allows you to get free girls. No, that's just being a decent human being. But unfortunately, men aren't taught how to properly treat women nowadays. I mean, we know we got to open the door for them and we know we got to look good. But, I mean, do we know how to treat them? Do we know how they emotionally work? It's essential that we really learn these things as guys if we want to actually have healthy relationships, whether as friends or as future partners. And I understand the whole debate about not having female friends, but I mean, surely you'd want to be friends with someone in the first place if you want to have a wife one day in the future, right? Anyways, though, the key takeaways are, so what makes a woman feel safe based off of what we learned so far that makes her not safe? Well, of course, having the emotional control. You don't want to have any surprising emotions. You want to have a steady tone. And if you as a man struggle with your emotions, well, wouldn't you want your emotions to be validated and thus be more significant? So if you're just calm and if you're normal, right? If you're just some normal dude and all of a sudden you're crying, there's more attention to that. But that only becomes by the fact that you're a man who just feels more safe. He's natural, he's controlled. So just have an emotional control. It doesn't matter if your day sucks or not. It doesn't matter if they recognize it or not. That's the silent sacrifice that's necessary to be a good man. And otherwise, you're not a good man. And of course, through emotional control, we find predictability. It's the opposite of what I mentioned earlier. You don't shift. You don't have these mood swings. That's their job. So just be predictable. Let them know how you're going to react. And includes your family, friends, wives, husbands. I don't know, right? Like, you get my point. Whoever it is around you. Well, I mean, that'd be gay if you had a husband. Well, whatever. You get my point. You know what I'm saying, right? Whoever it is around you, whether it's male friends, female friends, right? Mother, father, brother, daughter, you get what I'm saying. You got to have this predictability around them, because otherwise, how can they assume what you're going to be? You're a dangerous man when you're unpredictable, and you'd rather not be such a dangerous man in their sight. You'd want to be a protective man who's strong. And of course, we need leadership. So, not dominance, not controlling, but leadership. And this means we're going to slow conversations. It means we're going to steady the energy, and it means we're going to make decisions without the anxiety, right? We're not going to worry about things. We're just going to do them. We're just going to be present. That's what makes a good man. And she's going to feel safe with you when you feel safe within your own body and you know you're actually able to lead and take charge. She'll not have to worry. I mean, why would you want to make a woman unconsciously worry? That's the worst thing you can possibly do as a man. Of course, though, how can we become this, right? I talked about some things that we don't want to do and some things that we should do, but how do we become the man she feels safe with? Well, first of all, slow your reactions. It's okay. Who cares if you take another second or two? Try to come up with a response that makes sense and that encourages you to be silent around them. Women appreciate a man who's grounded and can feel with them. I mean, a man has to be emotionally intelligent. I know as men we love to shy away from our emotions, but reflection and emotion is what allows us to be compassionate with a woman. So even if you're just in a room with them, if you can pause and just feel the way she feels, she'll sense that and be greatly appreciative for it. She might not say thank you, but she's not going to be afraid of you. And certainly, that's what we're going at in this video. So, of course, we're going to see through just being a bit more gentle with how we talk and just slowing down. We're going to talk with being calm and certain. So when you have a bit of certainty, that means you kind of know what you're saying, right? So you're not going to say some nonsense you don't know about, but it also shows you can have trust in what you're doing in the direction you're going in. And because you're calm as a result of just having some pause between your words, she's going to trust that you talking isn't going to elevate the situation and the stress around it. I mean, why would a woman want you to talk more rapidly and as a result make an environment more stressful? No, she's just going to want you to be calm and present. That doesn't mean being the stoic man who pretends to be calm and talks like this and then pauses for a very unrealistically long a period of time. Just be a man and be yourself. And that's the most important thing. If you want to have a genuine relationship, just be yourself. Don't pretend to be someone. I mean, if it's hard for you to pretend to be someone, believe me, it's going to be easy for someone to pick it up, especially a lady. So don't pretend to be this masculine man. Just be yourself and just be more genuine. That takes time. That's difficult, but the more situations you put yourself into, the easier it is. And of course, keep micro promises. Women can appreciate a man who follows through with his word. I mean, I don't know about women when it comes to promises, but at least me, as myself, as a young man who aspires to be something greater, promises are essential. Whether that's promising I'm going to go get groceries or change the tires or I'm going to tell her I love her, promises are a big deal. And even as friends or whatever situation you put yourself into, these micro promises, which are still promises nonetheless, are essential in building trust. So call when you say you would, or show up when you're planning to, and just do the work when it's necessary. Be a man who's trustworthy. Women fall in love with a man who is actually trustworthy, though they might just like the man who looks cute. So it doesn't matter how good you look. If you're a crappy man at the end of the day, looks maxing is not going to get you anywhere. And if you think about it, looks maxing is a coping mechanism for men to just get more bodies. But as a man, you don't want to have sex with a bunch of women. You want to have sex with your wife, meaning one person. And you don't need to prove to your wife you look good. She's going to love you for who you are. So be yourself and be who you are, but make sure who you are is a good person. And that's what this video is for. And of course, finally, just improve one weakness at a time. I said earlier, this is a difficult thing we're going to have to force ourselves to learn through just different situations. So if you're struggling with anger, just work a little bit towards it. If you're struggling with insecurity, be a bit more secure about who you are and comfortable in your own body. If you're inconsistent, then just do little things, man. It's okay to fail, but it's not okay to give up. Giving up is the true ultimate failure. I mean, we're so afraid of failing, but if you knew you only had 34 more failures before you became this godly man we all want to be, then you'd fail really quickly. because that's where you'd get. But you don't know that. You don't know how many more failures you need, and as a result, you're terrified of failing because that failure might put you all the way back. But failure isn't there to set you back. It's there to help you learn as a setup for a comeback. So just learn, engage. And if you struggle with these things, whether it's your emotions or your environments, just work through it one step at a time. And through this, we're going to find our anchor. The anchor is simple. You don't chase reassurance, you are the reassurance. Build it in yourself. You're not going to panic in your silence. If you're silently panicking, it's going to communicate that to other women around you. It's not that difficult. They will pick up on it. So you don't need to crumble when you're alone. You don't need to rely on her to emotionally stabilize you. If you rely on a woman to be emotionally stable, that's a problem. That doesn't mean you can't cry or be emotional or be vulnerable. Those are sacred moments. But she needs to trust that that's going to be a dime a dozen, and that's not the status quo. Because if the status quo is your emotional vulnerability, how can she find safety in you? So you have to stabilize yourself, and a good woman will recognize that. Believe me, she will recognize and appreciate that. But by doing that, by stabilizing yourself, by finding yourself as the anchor, right? You're not going to chase reassurance. You're not going to panic. You're not going to crumble down when you're all alone. You're going to say, no, I'm going to do it, and it's okay, right? You have to tell yourself it's going to be okay 1,000 times for 1,000 days, and you'll get used to it. But once you do that, you will be stabilizing everything around you. I mean, think of it. If you naturally just radiate calm and stability and safety, of course, everything around you will follow suit. Of course, so we're going to find an identity shift. This is a bit of a bonus section. You now know as a man how to make a woman feel more safe. That's easy. Just be calm and collective and follow through. But if you want this to be the part of your life that is your core attribute, making women feel safe, or if you want this attribute to lead you a bit more, then you got to shift your identity for it to be a bit more natural. So you're not the man who rushes and collapses and this and that. You're going to be the man who's consistent. You're going to be the man who's calm and grounded and reliable and emotionally stable. That means shifting your identity. So if you desire to make a woman feel more safe, let that be the man you are. Think about it. A man who goes to the gym every day is a bodybuilder. And a man who loves every day is a husband. Maybe he's a father. Whatever it is, you have to let your identity be based on your desire, which is based on your action. Well, kind of inverse, right? Your actions are based on your desire, and as a result, your identity is based on your actions for that desire. So, not to try and get too wordy and random, the point is that basically, you want to build your identity off of what you're doing. And if what you're doing isn't making women feel safe, well, you can only imagine what your identity looks like to other people, right? You're a man who doesn't make women feel safe. That's scary. So if you want to really make women feel comfortable and safe around you, which I know, that's like a bare minimum, we should be learning this, but we don't as men. Nonetheless, if you want to learn this, then let it be your identity. Let yourself be the man who makes people feel safe around themselves, whoever they are, whether it is your wife or your girlfriend or your cousin or your daughter or your friend or some stranger. If it's a lady, you probably want to make her feel safe. I mean, you can even make men feel safe, right? If it's your buddy, if it's your dude, it's your dad, it's your son, you probably want to make him feel safe. Now, it's a bit different for them, but nonetheless, you want your identity to be one that is an identity of safety. That doesn't mean you're in a, safe space, or you're this man who's just going to let people be comfortable doing whatever. But it means you're going to have a spine and stand up where you need to be. And most importantly, standing up for yourself. Because if you want to stand up for others, that means telling people when they're wrong and being clear and honest and, warm-hearted. You have to first stand up to yourself, which means shooting yourself down when it's necessary and when you're emotionally uncontrolled. Overall, though, it's a really simple principle. Women don't feel safe around you because not as a result of you not being enough or them not being adequate for you, but just because your presence is unstable. It's not this complex idea of I need to be more and more or they need to be less and less, but just chill out. Right? Stability is not a personality trait, but it's a daily discipline that you can form into an identity. So slow down, calm your reactions, speak calmly as a result of just calming down, and keep your word. It's not hard. And when you do all these things, you're going to lead the moment. That makes you a leader, and they will naturally submit to you. Not because they're these submissive women, but because you're a leader. And a woman will naturally follow a leader because when a man makes them feel safe and makes them feel comfortable physically, emotionally, spiritually, they're obviously going to want to follow him. The same way a young boy is going to follow his coach, because his coach, likewise, shows him to the promised land, being a better life, right? A coach teaches you to be better. A good man teaches a woman that it's safe. My name is Nolte Painter. I really hope you learned something. I mean, let me know and comment down below if you really think you learned something. Subscribe if you want to keep on watching videos, and you know what? Share it, right? Go ahead and share this video. If you watch the whole thing and you really think you learned something, then share it with a buddy. That actually helps me a lot. Of course, though, I love you. God loves you. I really hope you learned something. I apologize for the video quality being up and down these days as I'm jumping around all over the country right now, and it's been really unstable myself. So, whatever. Nonetheless, though, I will be seeing you tomorrow.